So this is Veronica McGee, and I am an integrative nutrition counselor at Twin Beef Wellness. Every Monday, I publish an inspirational story, either of friends or people that I've met along the way that have had healing stories that I somehow contributed to, or people that are further along in their journeys and inspired me to keep on going. Usually those posts are in picture format, but this week it's a video. And I am excited to be here with Gabi Ruscior, who has a practice called Radiantly Human. And I have met Gabi when I was a child, so I've known her all my life. We both grew up in Gurahmorli, Suceava, in the foothills of the Carpathians in Romania. So we've had pretty similar childhoods, but then we haven't seen each other live in 20-something years. Gabi now lives in London, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia. But I'm excited to have her here today so she can share more about her experience and her successes. And good morning or good afternoon, Gabi.
Hi, good morning, Veronica. Good afternoon for me because it's 1 o'clock in London. Super excited to be here, stoked to reconnect with you, and I cannot wait for this to unfold.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you mind telling me how is it that you got to be involved in this field of wellness? Tell me a little bit about your path, your story.
Sure. So, my journey started as an energy healer, and as you know, my roots are in a tiny place in Bukovina, as yours are, in Romania. And that place carries both generational trauma, but also incredible wisdom. And I grew up basically witnessing both sides of this world. On one hand, the painful effects of the trauma, and on the other hand, the beautiful natural way of living of the elders there, including like my family in the countryside and probably yours too. So basically, since I was a kid, like in my childhood, my granddad was a plant healer. And to this day, he is the most knowledgeable person I've met. Of course, I've heard of other people, I've read about them, I studied them, but in my life as a presence, my granddad to this day is the most knowledgeable person in plants healing that I've met. So this is where you see that beautiful side of the world we came, and at some point just meets trauma. And for me, this was it also manifested in my life also, but also seeing it quite a lot around me. It brought me to energy healing and just at some point in life you realize that the baggage that you are carrying is not mandatory. So it is actually something to unpack, it's not something to carry with you. So yeah, this is how my journey started. And then seeing, throughout my life, sadly, often trauma overshadowing wisdom and this beautiful way of living that I just talked about, um, my basically my energy healing journey began. And this is how I started kind of bringing these two worlds together and in a sort of alchemy. And my purpose from the start was transforming the pain into wisdom and re-accessing this beautiful side that was always there. And when I started working with people, actually I became amazed of how trauma can be alchemized and how it can be transformed, and so openly making space for perpetual renewal. So this is what will always, I hope, amaze me when I work with others, amazed me in myself. and it gives me a deep purpose.
That is wonderful. So you take lemons, you get lemons, and you make lemonade. As uh, as
Yeah.
as I was listening to you talk about your granddad and the wisdom that was passed on to you through him, I cannot help but think of these wonderful times we live in. Because for the longest time we ignored ancient wisdom, and we lost a lot of it because of I don't know, modern medicine and modern potions and lotions. And now we are living through some sort of revival where we are going back to our roots. It may have to do with our age too. I don't know. We're going back to our roots and we are tapping into that knowledge. And I hope that one day both you and I are going to be inspirational for somebody else sitting in some sort of room having a chat and they will reference us saying, hey, I learned so much from these ladies and they somehow changed my path. So this is very exciting. I'm very glad that you brought that up, and I'm very happy that that you are able now to take all that knowledge and change the lives of the people around you.
Yes, thank you. I echo your idea of hopefully inspiring people. And the message is that there is truly an abundance of methods that you can do that. And there is truly an abundance of ancient wisdom and ancient healing that you can access. There is no lack of it, there is no scarcity. And yeah, hopefully our conversation will inspire others to tap into it because it's present, it's here. And when you think about it, it shouldn't really be called alternative medicine because it's not really an alternative, it's the medicine. But yeah, it's wonderful to unpack this and to see how life unfolds differently, better, larger, and clearer once you access this.
So you are able to take all that knowledge and experience and weave it into a book. And that is the exciting part. I mean, the most exciting part is that you wrote a book and it is called Building Steel Resilience Through the Softest Methods. Why did you choose this title? And tell us more about your book.
Sure, of course. So, building steel resilience through the softest methods is about how to integrate the wellness routines in your daily life. Because from my experience and from my personal life and from my practice, the wellness habits are the foundation of your life. Once you get this right, once you get the basics right, basically the world is your playground. So I learned through trial and error, and it took me over 10 years to realize, to then to alchemize and to implement this. And hopefully through my book others will do it in a shorter time, because this is, the purpose, efficiency. Even in wellness, we can still work more efficient. And yeah, this book is about helping people first understand that wellness habits are truly a foundation, and then integrate them in the daily lives. Because I've seen people, and including myself, literally starting very enthusiastic a new habit, or something which is beneficial for us, but in a matter of weeks falling short on it. And through this experience, which lasted for some good years, so it was there, I learned that there are different methods and we can work around it actually softer and smarter. Because like, it's nothing to me, it's nothing sadder than seeing people literally exhausted of trying harder. And the message of my book is try softer, because there is a way for you. And
So
sure.
more like slow living and like enjoying it, and not so much pressure on ourselves to do it all and to do it fast and to do it right.
Exactly, but the reality is that we live in a world where speed is necessary, where success requires effort fortified by still resilience. And this book shows how to build still resilience through the softest methods, because I've been there. Like, I've been to the point I was feeling exhausted of even like trying one more thing, and I realized that, hey, there is another way, and I can still have still resilience. I can still be the sharpest and work with speed, but once I've built these foundations through soft methods. Like,
Wonderful.
basically, yeah, can be at my peak, but once I built these foundations. Until I didn't have this foundation, sadly things kept just falling short, and yeah, you just get discouraged, and in the end most of the people just give up.
It's almost like having roots, just like any str-
Exactly.
any.
Exactly.
Now, Gabby, your book is available on Etsy, and I am going to put the link for your book in the notes of this video. But I wanted
Mhm.
to ask you if you could go back in time and somebody else had written your book, at what age or what stage in your life would you have welcomed this book the most?
Well, I will start this with a quote actually that I love, and it's by Gary Zukov. And it says that how often spring comes to you. If you are a prisoner of a calendar, spring comes once a year. But if you are building authenticity, spring comes as often as you want to come. So basically, this referred like, it's not really a limit, an age limit, where you can start building wellness habits, or when wellness is more important than at, at other age. But knowing myself and looking back, teenagers, like teenage years and youth was more about having fun. So I would say, let's say, oh, like over 30s, because I think before that, one is still like too young to be acutely aware of the importance of this. And maybe like this is where nature also plays its part. Don't rush it, let it come to you when it comes to you. So if I have to put a number on it, it would be over 30s.
Yeah, I know all about it because I have a teenager. And as much as I want to say, oh, this will serve you so well, and I wish you would know this, she has to learn it herself and she has to.
Yeah, exactly. And when you think about it, like she has, the best environment, one could dream, right? Like your parents are the fathers and mother of wellness. And, but yeah, probably, like, yeah, it has to be her own way, her own time, and her own lessons. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then she has to get there to be able to appreciate it. And she has to have her own journey, like you and I had our own journey. And now that we are over it, we are able to share these gifts with the world, which I find fascinating. And I find more joy in like sharing than receiving. But I like to receive as well. But
Yeah.
but I love it. I love to see people strive and thrive and have successes. I live through them, and I think this is a big part of choosing a career like this.
Yes, and I think it's wonderful when you basically receive by giving, because I see this as a big part of the wellness area, the wellness field, and of what we do. And we truly receive by giving, which it's just wonderful. And also, I learned that we grow so much ourselves in the process. Like, I couldn't have grown without my clients. I couldn't have grown so fast in such a short period. Truly see it as this happening through what I do, through the people, and through the people I do it with. And yes, I echo that. Yeah, it is a great way to be, I think.
And I was wondering if you don't mind sharing, since we're sharing, about your fitness routine, because you look very strong, you look very healthy. Like you have developed some sort of method there as well. Do you mind talking a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And well, fitness was actually such a learning place for me because, yeah, right now I might look strong and probably fit, hopefully, but this wasn't always the case. Basically, I've been struggling from some years building a fitness routine and maintaining a fitness routine. And I tried quite a lot of things like fancy gyms, expensive equipment, and above all, broken promises. Like literally, it was anecdotic at some point because I would pack my bag, pack my gym gear, planning to go after work. And after that, with my backpack, literally, I was passing the gym, like, let's say, hi. So it just wasn't happening. So I realized that it's something. So I had basically the best external factors, right? I had the gear, I had the gym, I had the facility, and the means to do that, but it wasn't happening. So this is when I said, okay, let me be in total control of what is under my area. So I just started saying that I'm not going to do more than 3 minutes, like 3 minutes on the treadmill. It's great. Like if I do that, it's not a loss, it's actually a plus. And this is how, like, this lasted for about a month, because you'd be amazed how your body and your mind catch up, and they are starting to cooperate once you make your gym your safe space. So basically, you make it your safe space by really, really small daily habits which you can maintain. So I started literally with 3 minutes and saying, I'm not going to, like, tomorrow I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing today. I'm not going to do more. And this lasted for about a month. And to my surprise, to my astonishment, as time went by, years came, this transformed in a non-negotiable routine. Literally, gym is my playground now. I see it, as a place of relaxation rather than, a place of exhaustion. And I call my method like the half measure method, because it literally started with half measure and it builds, in time. And to anybody who is struggling, with starting and maintaining a gym routine, I would I would suggest start small, start where you are, and half measures would do, for now. Don't think about that summer body. Don't think about like fitting in that wedding dress right now. Like right now, congratulate yourself for those 3 minutes. And people might say, like, my clients, one of my clients was like, yeah, but how long would it would take years to get. I'm like, no, do this for a month and then see what happens. So basically, have patience with yourself, with, for 1 month, and then it will literally unfold for you. It won't be a struggle anymore.
I can see how this method could be applied to anything else that we're struggling with,
Yeah, of course.
that we encounter resistance against. I love it, and there's no much pressure. I also understand your client asking, well, how long is this going to take? Because we need like timelines and like.
We need, yeah, but we don't know how to get it. And to your point, resilience is not basically, resilience doesn't mean that we must push through every challenge with brute force. Resilience is like water, is soft, but it will wear away rock.
Mhm.
So this is, one of my principles that I go by. And going back to exercise, yes, you do this like for 1 month just to get familiar, to make it your safe space, and then watch it happen. So, yeah, just be in the moment, celebrate the small wins, which will help you keep consistent. Because if you are saying that, well, tomorrow I'm going to do exactly what I've done today, you have 100% chances that you will repeat that tomorrow, that you will get to the treadmill tomorrow. And of course you will do more, of course you will add a few more minutes, but this again will come naturally.
Yes.
So yeah.
And the brain and the bodies are so trainable, and I can see where you tell yourself, I did it yesterday, I can do it today. Yesterday wasn't that hard, I can do it again today. If I do a little extra, that's fine. And all of a sudden, like, your 3 minutes become 5, you become 10. And because exercise is such an important part of the multi-dimensional health. I mean, they're the two big pillars, like nutrition and exercise, and then all the other aspects that are just as important, but these are the ones that everybody seems to focus on the most. And we cannot do without, like, we have to move. And if we haven't been successful, then find methods like Gabi's and give them a chance and give them a try and see what happens. In anything that you learn that's safe, I'm going to say safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Give.
And if it's not safe, make it your safe space. And you do this literally, and it's simple, like human nature. We are creatures of habit. This is what we are, and this is what we're probably going to be for a while until we fly to Mars or somewhere else. But for now, this is, the truth that we know, and we'd better work with that to our advantage.
And it seems like you have applied this level of discipline and these methods. And I mean, some people call them hacks, but hacking just has a negative connotation. So I would just call them like growth methods. It seems like you've applied some of that when it comes to your beauty routine. Your skin is radiant. So what is it that you do there?
Well, when it comes to beauty, I have really simple and clear principles. Like, again, no woo-ha, no crazy routines or treatments. So literally, there are like three clear principles that I go by. The first is what you eat. Like, this is the first factor number one in my skincare, if I can say. So diet plays the biggest role in our skincare, and sadly, not a lot of us are aware of it. And the consequences are that we eat bad food and our skin is not radiant. So food can help so much, and it's so important in our skin health. The second one is how we move, basically exercising, because when you sweat, you glow, you detox, and it's so essential for healthy skin. And not just healthy skin, but we are talking about skin right now. And only the third comes what you apply on your face. Like, this is really where I go by. It's beauty is skin's deep. Like, it's so superficial, and what you apply on your face is so superficial that it's only third and the last thing that contributes to radiance and your skin's health.
In spite of what marketing tells us, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It's and again, it's almost crazy how much people buy that, and it's almost crazy how much people believe in miracles in, like, in a cream, but they don't believe in the true miracles created by what you eat and how you move. It's insane.
It seems like we are wired as people to take the shortest, easiest path. So, while putting on some cream doesn't require as much effort, being intentional about what you're eating and about exercise is a lot more effort. And you touched a little bit on my field here, and you are indeed what you eat, and it does show on the face. The skin is the biggest organ, right? We eat through our skin. And there isn't, like, what works for somebody doesn't necessarily work for somebody else. So there isn't a magical solution there as well, but there's a lot of trial and error, eliminating inflammatory foods and seeing what works for one person versus what works for another.
Absolutely. It's like what you eat can either heal you or make you sick. This is, yeah, there is definitely much more like education needed, and what you are doing comes like, perfectly fit in the times we are living, and so useful, and thank you for putting it out there, because I learned every day. you know and Yeah, word needs to be spread, because basically what I'm saying and what you are saying, it's really in our hands more than in the hands of a cream, or something else you put on your face. And food and exercise, it's truly under our control. We just have to learn how to integrate it and work with it to our advantage.
And the help is out there. I know there's a lot of coaches out there and a lot of people that are claiming things, but this is like, we live in good times. There is help available. You and I come from a society where, when we grew up in the communist country, there wasn't help. There wasn't access to information. So we live in good times. Like, we should take advantage of this help that's out there. Tell me a little bit about your program. We have like 7 minutes left, but I do want to hear a little bit about
Sure.
your coaching.
Yes, but first, I just want very quickly to salute what you said, that we come from a culture where help was not, like, we were not aware that help, basically, maybe it was not available to start with, and how lucky we are that we live in these times where it's the norm, to get help. And it's amazing how people actually want to help once you ask for it. And I do want to spread the word here. And again, thank you for bringing this up, because there is, again, help, so much help available, and so much good advice available. And we should, if someone is still in that mindset or in that culture, should break it, because a whole new world awaits, once you ask for help. So yeah, going back to the question was about my programs. So my best-selling programs are the turning pain into power. And this takes me back to my roots, actually, and to our opening discussion. It's about coming from, a place of trauma and transforming it in a place of power. Because at the end of the day, things are, like, the way I see it, are truly alchemized. Like, it takes something to make something else. And this is my first program that I ran, Turning Pain into Power. It's available on my website. And the second program is the Golden Compass. And it's a program which teaches you about how to navigate through life journey, of course, hand in hand with wellness, but knowing your coordinates, because we are all different. And not like, there is an abundance of methods to improve yourself, your life, but not all will work for you. And if you don't know yourself, your coordinates, you might keep, trying. And by all means, you might be resilient and try for like 2, 3, 4 times. But in the end, you would sadly get discouraged and eventually give up. Whereas if you know your coordinates, if you know how you function, if you know, like, what is your prime time and when you should start something. For example, somebody can exercise in the morning, somebody just cannot. And if we keep forcing ourselves into holes we are not, we won't go through, eventually it won't be very successful. So yes, the Golden Compass, it's about navigating, knowing your coordinates, right? And the third program is about wealth, because wealth is not a dirty word. And it's called the Prosperity Path. And of course, it is about discovering your wealth code and knowing what is your authentic prosperity path. Because again, it's different for all of us. We are in different groups. Not everything that we do will bring us prosperity. Like, for some people, it's the sheer action. Like, this is how they are made, this is how they are built. Some people are generators. For them, it's about nurturing their inner space and then attracting. But it's simply not the same for everyone. And my programs help people discover who they are at their core and how they can function to attract wealth, wellness, well-being, prosperity, and so on.
That sounds really good. That kind of touches on one of my principles, which is that of bio individuality. It's like what works for you doesn't work for somebody else. What works for you at a certain time in your life doesn't mean it's going to work for you later on in life. So learning yourself and seeing what works. And I love it that there's all these tools out there. And I encourage all of you to go check out Gabi's work at Radiantly Human. I will post her socials in the notes. This has been so exciting. It feels like I got to catch up with the adult Gabi and learning from you. And I cannot wait to see where your journey takes you. And I am very happy for the people you're working with.
Thank you. I'm still stoked. It will take a couple of minutes after this. Super happy to reconnect with you and grateful for having me here. And I cannot wait to see, how your journey unfolds. And again, so happy that our journeys, reconnected. Truly grateful for that. Thank you.
You're such an inspiration. Thank you for sharing your story.
Same you. Thank you.